Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like up. General Hospital spoilers show that Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, may have to make a hard decision as Lulu Spencer's, Alexa Haven's, life hangs in the balance. And the fate of another fan favorite, Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, also looks grim. GH history reminds us Lulu Spencer, formerly M. Raylan, has been in a coma for 4 years, and now she needs a liver transplant to survive. The medications used during her coma have damaged her organs, and a partial liver donation could help her own liver regenerate. But things deteriorate soon on General Hospital, and Dante Falconeri is crushed that Lulu might die. Her mother, Laura Spencer, Jenny Francis, and cousin Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, are desperate to find a donor. They hope Lulu's brother Lucky Spencer, Jonathan Jackson, could be a match. He was not a match earlier as a bone marrow donor, but might be as a partial liver donor match because there are less barriers for a donor. However, time is running out. Lucky is still trapped with the villainess and Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, and Holly Sutton, Emma Sams. When he gets home on General Hospital, his sister might be much worse off and on the brink of death. As time goes on, Lulu's condition worsens. Soon, she may need a full liver transplant to survive. This means that someone else must die for her to receive the vital organ. A living person can donate over half their liver for a partial transplant. The liver will regenerate back to full size for both donor and recipient. But a full liver transplant has to come from someone dead. Enter Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, whose fate seems sealed. Though General Hospital hasn't officially confirmed Sam's death, Monaco has been fired, and it seems the writers are killing off her character. Even Kelly Monaco's own mother hinted at the character's demise, stating it wasn't the actress's choice to leave the show. The timing of these two storylines makes it seem that Sam could be the donor to save Lulu's life. It would be a tragic twist for Dante. He finally found love and stability with Sam after his failed marriage to Lulu. Dante and Sam have built a family with their children. They're co-parenting Rocco Falconeri, Finn Francis Kerr, Danny Morgan, Asher Jared Antonisen, and Scout Kane, Cosette Abinant, on General Hospital. Losing Sam would be devastating for Dante, even though Lulu may return to his life. The question remains, will Dante even know if a liver transplant will bring Lulu out of her coma? Or will it simply prolong her life in this vegetative state? One theory among General Hospital is that Sam McCall's death could be because of Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mancy. Christina is convinced Ava Jerome, Maura West, caused her miscarriage. She insists Ava pushed her out the window, rather than it being an unfortunate accident. Christina already stole a gun from her father, Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard. Her mom dumped the gun, but Chrissy could easily get another one. She could accidentally shoot Sam in a confrontation with Ava. Another possibility is a car crash on General Hospital. Perhaps with Sam rushing to stop Christina from doing something dangerous. If Sam is mortally wounded, Dante might have to choose between saving his current love or his ex-wife and mother of his child. It's a classic Sophie's Choice dilemma that could leave Dante guilt-ridden and heartbroken. Interestingly, General Hospital introduced a new character, Dr. Isaiah Gannon, Sawandi Wilson, and he's a transplant specialist. Dr. Gannon arriving just as Lulu needs a transplant seems more than coincidental. While it's not confirmed that Sam will be the donor to save Lulu, but the timing of Monaco's rumored exit and this storyline makes it a strong possibility. So, will Dante have to choose between the two women he's loved? Will he be forced to decide whether Danny and Scout lose their mother or Rocco loses his? Get all your General Hospital daily spoilers and news here at Soap Dirt, and stay tuned for updates on your favorite characters' fates. In the bustling halls of General Hospital, Life was as unpredictable as ever. Doctors and nurses hurried through the corridors, their faces masks of professionalism concealing the whirlwinds of emotion that came with working in a place where life and death intertwined daily. But on this particular day, one man found himself grappling with a choice that could shatter his world: Detective Dante Falconeri. Dante had always been a man of principles, a pillar of strength in the face of chaos. But today, he faced a situation no amount of police training could prepare him for. He stood in a small waiting room, his head in his hands, the weight of the world pressing down on his broad shoulders. Outside the window, Port Charles basked in the golden glow of an unseasonably warm winter day, a cruel contrast to the storm brewing within him. The two women he loved most in the world were fighting for their lives, and he was being forced to make an impossible decision. On one side was Sam McCall, his fierce and independent partner, a woman who had taught him to embrace life's risks and live in the moment. On the other was Lulu Spencer, his ex-wife and the mother of his son, Rocco, whose bond with him ran deep despite the end of their marriage. Dr. Hamilton Finn, General Hospital's top diagnostician, had laid out the grim reality moments earlier. Both Sam and Lulu had been victims of a devastating car accident caused by a reckless drunk driver. Their injuries were severe, and both required immediate, life-saving surgeries. The problem? There was only one operating room available, and both surgeries demanded the full attention of the hospital's most skilled surgical team. Dante had stared at the doctor, disbelief etched into every line of his face. "You're asking me to choose who lives and who doesn't." "I'm sorry," Finn replied, his own voice heavy with regret. "If there was any other way, I'd take it, but time is critical. Whoever we operate on second will have significantly reduced odds of survival." Now, alone in the waiting room, Dante replayed those words over and over in his mind. How could he make such a choice? How could anyone? His heart ached for both women, each of whom represented a different part of his soul. Memories flooded his mind. He saw Sam's mischievous smile as she teased him about his meticulous nature, her courage as they tackled dangerous cases together, her tenderness during quiet moments when they let their guards down. Sam was his present, and he had hoped his future. But then there was Lulu. He remembered the first time they danced together, the way her laughter had lit up his darkest days, the joy they shared when Rocco was born. Lulu was his past, but she was also his family, and that bond was unbreakable. Dante's head throbbed as he tried to think rationally. Who needed him more? Sam had Danny and Scout, her young children who adored her. Lulu had Rocco, who would be devastated to lose his mother. Both women had people who loved them, who needed them. How could he possibly weigh one life against another? The soft voice startled him, and he looked up to see his mother, Olivia Falconeri, standing in the doorway. Her eyes were red-rimmed, and her usually vibrant demeanor was subdued. She crossed the room and placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Shay," Olivia soothed, pulling him into a hug. "I can't imagine what you're going through, sweetheart, but you have to trust your heart. Whatever choice you make, it'll come from love." Her words, though comforting, did little to ease his torment. He pulled away and began pacing the room, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. He thought of calling Jason Morgan, Sam's ex and father of her son, but Jason was unreachable, caught up in a crisis of his own. Laura Collins, Lulu's mother, was in Europe on a diplomatic mission. The burden of this decision fell squarely on his shoulders. As he paced, Dante's police instincts kicked in. He needed facts, data, something concrete to guide his choice. He rushed to find Dr. Finn, who was reviewing scans in the hallway. "Doctor," Dante said urgently, "I need to know the specifics. What are their odds? What's the exact risk for each of them?" Finn hesitated but then nodded, understanding Dante's desperation. "Sam has internal bleeding that's putting pressure on her heart. Without surgery, her heart could fail within hours. Lulu suffered a traumatic brain injury. Without immediate intervention, there's a high risk of irreversible damage. Dante's heart sank further. Both scenarios were dire. How could he possibly prioritize one over the other? As he walked back to the waiting room, his thoughts turned to Rocco. He imagined his son's innocent face, the way he lit up when Lulu walked into a room. Could he live with himself if he took Rocco's mother away from him? But then he thought of Sam's children. Danny and Scout had already endured so much. Losing their mother would leave a void that could never be filled. The weight of responsibility crushed him, and he sank into a chair, his head in his hands once more. Minutes felt like hours as Dante wrestled with his conscience. Finally, Olivia returned, a determined look in her eyes. "Dante, listen to me," she said firmly. "You're trying to make this decision alone, but you're not alone. Let's pray together, and maybe the answer will come to you." Though he wasn't particularly religious, Dante nodded, willing to try anything to ease the unbearable pressure. As Olivia whispered a heartfelt prayer, he closed his eyes and focused on his breathing. Slowly, a sense of clarity began to emerge. When he opened his eyes, he looked at his mother and said, "Thank you, Ma. I think I know what to do." He stood and walked back to Dr. Finn, his steps resolute despite the pain in his chest. "Operate on Sam first," he said, his voice steady. "She's got 2 young kids who need her, and I can't let them grow up without their mom." Finn nodded, already moving to prepare the surgical team. "We'll do everything we can for both of them, Detective. I promise." As the medical staff sprang into action, Dante returned to the waiting room, where Olivia hugged him tightly. "You made the right choice," she whispered. But Dante wasn't sure there was a right choice in a situation like this. All he could do now was hope. Hope that both women would pull through, hope that he'd done the best he could with an impossible decision, and hope that, somehow, life would offer a second chance to everyone involved. Hours later, as the sun dipped below the horizon and cast the hospital in hues of orange and purple, Dante sat in silence, waiting for news. Whatever happened next, he knew his life would never be the same.